All right, guys, welcome back. Today we are going through Spring Summer 25 collection of our Legacy. It is beautiful stuff. We have picked out 4 curated fits for you guys, and you'll just have to let us know what you guys think, how it fits. We'll talk about it, do the whole 9 yards on it. So welcome. It's not just your legacy, it's our legacy. So.
I'm workshopping that one.
All right, here comes our boy, Timothy.
Here he comes.
As he enters the frame. First off, I want to say, Al looks good in clothes. That's why we're using him for this. He looks good and stuff, right? But I said off camera, I said, Al, if you started dressing like this, you'd be way too powerful and we'd lose him in a day. Somebody would take him.
So we can't have him doing this.
So don't let him wear this out and about because somebody would take our boy. Cool. But he looks really good.
I'm glad we started with this one because I think that the power of our Legacy is in like fit and drape.
Yes, 100%.
And I think that we've picked simple pieces here that just showcase just that. You know what I mean? That like changing 1 or 2 small things about the way something fits or looks or the material suddenly make it something way more fashionable than it normally is. So I think right away, something to point out is the easiest way to look like fashionable or super put together without putting any thought in is just to go monotone.
Yeah.
If you go monotone and do it properly, which all I mean by properly is just mess with the texture so that the textures aren't the same.
Colors,
Because if the colors are off, but the textures are different, I think it even kind of works.
Yep, agreed.
So this is kind of like, it's that to a T. I mean, it's literally just a crepe linen shirt, some jeans, and the mules here. But it suddenly becomes something like a lot more than that when you just like make it monotone, make it drape super pretty.
Yeah,
So,
a little slouchy, a little bit off the shoulder. The above shirt, above shirt's like pretty gauzy, super lightweight, hardly there, but.
Well, and again, like they do the above shirt in a lot of different fabrics, in plaids, in just plain colors. It's one of their more popular shirts. It's really got that sort of like, it's normally called like boyfriend fit or something, but like it's just big enough where it doesn't feel like you're wearing an oversized piece, but it also feels very like drapey and pretty and elegant. And suddenly it takes a shirt that I also think these shirts look beautiful under a jacket because they're so much more casual, just in the way that they lay. This is the way the collar lays, in the way that the body lays, everything about them. If you had a jacket over the top of this with this poking out, because it's so textured and pretty because of the linen, it just makes it so much more. You know what I mean? It's just a really, really, really simple way to like dress up without like having to think that much.
And then Al, if you wouldn't mind turning to this side again, this silhouette on these pants I think is perfect, especially with the way the mules are falling.
This is the vast cut jean, so this is gonna be a roomier overall fit. If you think of third cut as having that tighter feel on the kind of like top block, this is gonna have sort of a looser feel throughout. It's almost like going from a 501 to a 505. Like it's just adding a lot more room and volume throughout. You can kind of tell when you stand at the side, instead of doing that kind of like hip grabber thing, this is gonna be more straight the whole way down as opposed to being like little snugger then opening up. So it kind of just depends on what you want. I think with this shirt in particular, being that it's a very like, it's a blousier shirt overall, I think this actually works really great. I think like also understanding there's differences between just like, I'm gonna wear whiter jeans and that's like one thing. Whiter jeans is gonna have a big array of different like widths and what width means, because width can mean this way, width can just mean this. It can mean room at the top or room at the bottom. It can mean a lot of different things. Exactly. So I think it's good to have some like different options. This is gonna be, I think, your loosest version that they make, I believe.
At least that we stopped.
At least that we've seen, or that we have. I think that this works really well. If you've had the third cut and want something a little looser as a different option, or if you're maybe just getting into it for the first time, this is gonna be, I don't know, I think it's easier to wear just because it's so soft and it drapes so well. So I think when you're thinking wider jean, this is really what you're thinking. If you're thinking more of that, you know the look where it's like, it's tighter and it really billows more here and that's where you're getting your width, that's more of the third cut. So I think those are the differences, and I think you'll be able to see them kind of back to back if you look through the video.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So good options either way, just depends on what you need.
Yep.
Yeah. Camion Mule is the only other thing that we should point out. I think that what's really cool about this is when it's sitting like this, it just looks like a boot because it's sort of like a chopped version of their Camion boot. It's like the step up from a Chelsea. It's like pretty, it's a little bit more elegant. It's a little less dated at this point. And this is just sort of like a chopped version. So kind of you can just take that look right into spring, which I think makes it look dressier while you can just slip it on and slip it off. This leather also ages really pretty over time. I have a couple pairs of their boots and the leather really ages nicely. And I love the like burnt sugar as the color. Kind of goes with anything, and it will darken with wear, which is easy.
Get a little horsehair brush, give it a 1-2, easy.
We'll kind of keep talking about this, but honestly, I think like for your money, if you want to get into this like more slightly more like runway look, where you just want it to be a little bit more elegant, a little bit more thing, but you're not ready to go all the way up to like Loewe or Hermes or whatever the hell you want to call it. You're able to get like the bang for your buck you get with our Legacy. I think is kind of unmatched, like stylistically, fabric choice wise, price wise, silhouette wise, everything. So really great pieces.
Go Al.
Super airy shirt, the way that it hangs over my shoulders, it's very nice. Perfect for the summertime, perfect for layering. It's just a great piece. Yeah, I love how oversized it is. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect.
Look at this.
All right,
This is
vacation mode.
Yeah, this is vacation mode, bro.
Yeah. I really like this. So this is from like, our Legacy always does sort of like a pop collection, or I think it's called like splash collection. And so like some pieces that just have a little bit more something than, you know what I mean? Like a little bit, not just everyday pieces. So let's just start at the shirt. So beautiful linen shirt. I think that what really stands out in person is this, I mean, it's some sort of like watercolor or something that they're using. I mean, you can kind of even tell where here in the window where they did it, where the water puddled and everything.
Yeah, the shades are different within the same color. Yeah.
I mean, you really see that kind of throughout, especially when you're up close, that like, they layered the brown on top of the tan here on the leaves. And I think that like kind of stuff really like makes a difference on a piece like this, which you might think is like, oh, it's like, I'll wear it like a Hawaiian shirt, and that's fine. I mean, you can wear that in the same context as you might wear something like that. But this is really something a lot more elevated and pretty, meant to be like wearable art. It's really beautiful. Alec, would you do a little spin so they can see the back too? Yeah, so it's really cool. I mean, and I think the colors are so unique. I mean, even again, just like you can tell like how they did the background of the entire piece and the dyeing is it goes from like high to low, and which I can see just in the sleeve here. So I think there's a lot of depth to a shirt like this as opposed to just buying some sort of like Hawaiian.
With like an all over print or something.
Exactly,
it's a little more,
it's really
a little more
pretty.
considered.
All right, then moving down, we got third cut jeans. What's really great about these is that you get that like slightly higher rise. So you get a little bit of like snugness here with like a leg that sort of opens up into like pretty much just a full straight leg, I would say. But the big difference between this and another pair of like a looser fit is that you get that like snugness up here like old 501s have. So you get a really great shape that feels like it hugs the body here, and then it kind of just gently opens up and really makes a nice leg. The length really works on almost everyone because like you're seeing that sort of like gathering at the bottom really makes
it's not like a ton of stacking, but it's falling long enough that it's still sitting on top of the shoe in a nice, interesting line.
It matches perfectly, but these are two separate pieces. They're not necessarily like they don't necessarily go together as a unit. So it's all like hand embroidery throughout the entire thing. I mean, it's really pretty. These little butterflies and flower motifs. And it's funny that like even when Alec was just standing over there getting ready, you don't really notice it right away until you get up close. I think pieces like this are better when they're that way.
You might look and be like, oh, it's going to be tough to pull off.
It's a butterfly denim,
and it reads more tonal and more like a texture further away. Similar to like sometimes Capital does that, where like it'll be like a really loud print or fabric, but farther away it just reads as a texture.
You know, a lot of guys, for some reason, I'll notice like have no issue wearing a shirt like this with like plain jeans, and for some reason that level of splash doesn't seem to bother people. But I actually think the more like elevated version of doing that thing is actually reversing it and wearing like a really simple top. I mean, this is really pretty because it all works together. But if you just had like a great like white t-shirt or something like that, off-white, some sort of thing like that you're in the summer with these pants and a pair of like shoes like this or sneakers or something, that suddenly makes it feel so much more elevated because you've sort of flipped the traditional look on its head.
I got you.
Yeah, and I think that as these wear and wash and get beat up a little bit, I think they'll get even like more interesting because the embroidery always gets a little bit fuzzy and
it'll show wear in itself. So.
It's a really cool way to do like to think about like a summer denim instead of just going, I'm gonna wear like something like stone washed or light washed or whatever it is. Like to do something like this really flips it a little bit, makes it a little bit more interesting. And I think it's incredibly wearable because I mean this with a denim jacket would look good. This like I think you could kind of get a little bit more use out of this than you really So really cool piece. I think these turned out great, perfect for summer.
Cool. What do you think, Al?
Something about the shirt, typically there's a lot of stuff out there that's like super poppy and stuff like that, but just because they have the watercolor wash a little bit, it's delicate, but it's also, if you want to show off some color, this would be the piece to do it. Secondly, with the pants, Timothy mentioned this earlier, it grabs my hips really nicely and then drapes down as it goes, so it just kind of adds for a super nice fit, and the way that it hits on the bottom, super comfortable. This whole fit is kind of like, get some air on your skin, So it's good. It's
some
good
breeze.
Stuff.
Cool.
Do the next one.
I love that. Let's go. And yet again, we have a stellar example of our boy Alec wearing our Legacy. He looks good in this.
He looked great. I think that this is another, like when we talked about earlier, that the nice thing about our legacy is you get so much fashion at a really solid price. I think that like for what you get out of it, these are really great pieces.
Agreed.
And they're very wearable at the same time. Sometimes like higher end fashion can be a little bit more difficult to like really beat up and wear every single day. You have to be a little bit more delicate with it. This is sort of the opposite. I mean, this is the same denim they're using down below. Heavyweight, really great. Almost has that crispy feel.
Yeah.
I love to feel a denim that feels crispy right away because that means 1-2 wears or a wash and it's like suddenly it's so soft and nice. So I think this one's gonna really, because of all of the like draping that it does throughout, and it's already like a washed out denim, is gonna continue to age in a really interesting way. I think you're gonna get really interesting fading throughout as you wear them. So it's really cool. I love the cropped look of this. For even fall winter 25, this was a thing that we saw 100 times over, like this specific look. I can promise you're gonna see this from a lot of very high-end brands like this exact jacket. This is a better price than you're gonna get from the other ones. So if you're considering this or love this look, this sort of like cropped, almost like an old Carhartt or something, this is gonna come up a lot. Great thing about this too is they do this tighter waistband, which is like kind of traditional. It can either give you the exact silhouette you're going for or be a little tough. The nice thing about this one is they've got the dual way zip, so you can really adjust how that's
the bottom,
fitting
so
and
it's
feeling.
not sitting up here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So like whenever I see something with a tighter waistband, it's like, oh, does it have dual way zip? Because it does. That's gonna fix any problem I might have with it. So I really love that, and I love it with these tonal tees. We've been selling out of these tees like crazy. People love these. Really nice mid-weight, so it still has drape, so it's not like it's not sitting on top of you, but it also feels substantial enough to wear on its own.
Collar's a little higher and thicker too, so you're getting it like, you could see it proportionally underneath a different shirt or a jacket too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the other thing I really love when they're that way is when you wash and dry them, they'll get that weird sort of like almost a roping effect that happens because they almost get uneven. Like the same thing that happens at the bottom of jeans. It's really cool, and it just makes it like just adds something to it. Another third cut, correct? Correct? Yes, another third cut. Slightly bigger size. It's just what we had, so we wanted to make it work, but just keep that in mind that like
Alec
right size is probably a size down. Yeah, but I think that also that's something to note that people are really weird about sizing. We talk a lot about sizing with customers, and you know, the more you get into clothes and deal with them, it's like it doesn't really matter. You're in between a size is the reality, because like there's plenty of jeans I wear that are exactly my size. They fit me just right, snug, comfortable everywhere, and there's plenty that I have that are a size up, and I just belt them because I want that look. Because when you do that, suddenly you get that more of a drape. They feel like they're hanging on you a bit more. Just really changes the silhouette. So keep in mind that like that's sort of the thing. Sizing is just a weird construct, and it doesn't really matter. And you get something cool like regardless of if you size up or size down to your regular. The Gabe sneaker.
Sneakers,
These are really cool.
These are like kind of like Euro Traveler, you know what I mean? But like in like the best way.
Well, because they have that sort of side lacing system like old
Total
cleats.
90s.
Yeah, total 90s. Yeah. And I think that like that adds this really cool thing, but it also is really comfortable when you're wearing them because it doesn't put the lacing system right on top of your foot where your normal feet go like that and then have a hump and then go up. And that's right where lacing systems tend to be, and that can not feel great.
Hurts on your arch a little bit.
It also helps with that, but I think it creates this really interesting thing because so much of this is it's a lot of different materials, and you normally see that in sneakers, but it's really like synthetic materials. In this case, it's all more natural materials that you're seeing. Like there's some rubbers, but it's like suede and smooth leather and nubuck and all these things, and it creates this really cool texture. I love the little finishing things, the rubber pieces, the finishing they do on the lacing.
On the lacing, yeah.
I think that's so cool. I think that like if you're a Solomon person, like an XT6 person, and you're wanting like something that you can like level up or just have it's a little bit more refined, a little bit more like fashiony as opposed to like functional. This is like the perfect shoe.
Yeah, but feel-wise, really similar to an XT6, just to a sneaker that has a lot of tech to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a full Vibram sole. Like that's a hiking sole.
Show us the back end too. Cool pull tab, so you know it make the pants kind of fall cool on the back and play with the silhouette.
This is a really great one where what's happening when he's got it more like down and on top of his foot, he gets that really cool like fashion. He almost looks like it could be a boot or something. And then if you wore something a little bit more cropped, you get that more like sporty look, which is really nice. Yeah, we love these shoes. Chase and I, we talk about them all the time. We really love them. Yeah, and I think that like again, this is just an easy fit to put together where everything, again, you're kind of doing that tonal thing. Again, it just instantly elevates everything when you're kind of keeping it in that like tonal.
Yeah, it's nice. The jacket, first of all, it kind of, maybe you guys can understand this. It's like, I feel coddled and snuggled, you know, it feels very nice. Standard fare, third cut, or legacies. The wash is fantastic. It'll even improve as you go along there. And then the shoes, lacing system, as we talked about, is crazy. 2 eyelets, and then everything else is just kind of sewn into the shoe. And the leather is super flexible, so you know, you get some you get some freedom in the feet a little bit. It's not a very rigid
Yeah,
shoe.
even with it being all leather, you're not. It's not stiff.
Yeah. So
Dope.
it's good stuff.
All right, bring him in. Squeaking. So this is a really great jacket from our Legacy that they do. I've seen it a couple seasons now, and they do it in different fabrics, different makeups and stuff like that. I think as far as like a straightforward piece, especially if you're looking to mix it up from like a chore coat or a denim jacket or something, this is a great option.
Kind of meet in the middle.
Yep, I love the big hardware. I love the big tab thing, which is more like an old driver's coat or something like that, but it's not tight at the waist. So you get that look. I think it really hangs nicely. I like the weight. I love the denim. I think this is like an easy way to do a denim jacket where this is probably a little bit more versatile than even just like indigo denim.
Sure.
There's nothing like specific about it that I'm telling you that stands out other than that it's that perfect marriage of like 10% different than like what would be something standard that you might see. And that just makes it really special and then but ultra wearable. And then when you get those things right, that's huge.
Because like it doesn't have the standard denim jacket kind of buttons. It has a two-way zip, but then these snap buttons on the one of these snap buttons on the top over here, kind of like a storm pleat or placket.
Yeah, I think that it just cleans up the overall look and really really makes it look great. And like I said, they're always doing the dual zip. Real quick, just so we can demonstrate, this is like what I'm talking about. Like you can zip that up just totally normal, and you get that more, you get the standard zipped up look. You can imagine what that is. But when you take this and undo it just a little bit, and that might be too much, but like you get that kind of happening, and now you're getting the shirts peeking out a little bit. When he's got his hands in his pockets, it's not so stuffy. It just really changes the overall shape and silhouette. And even more importantly, if you're in a car or something, you don't want to have to take off your jacket or whatever, you can just unzip that part, sit down, really comfortable and easy to wear. Alec, let's take a look at the shirt underneath, if you don't mind. So this is a piece that I haven't seen from them before, but I really love it. I mean, I think of it's a long sleeve t-shirt, but it's done more like a shirt than like a cut and sew piece, if that makes sense. Like even just the way it's constructed. So you get this here, I'll take that from you. I really like the collar on it, I guess is what I'm saying, is like you can see how it's applied and it feels not quite a mock neck, but somewhere in between. And even the piece as a whole looks like it was almost sewn together like that. And it just really gets this really clean, like, I don't know, there's something a little bit more elevated about it than just wearing a long sleeve tee. And then obviously the fabric gives all this dimension and texture. With the crinkliness of it.
And lightweight enough that you just wear it by yourself, by itself in the summer.
Yeah, it's really gauzy and pretty, so it breathes great. It's just very like textural and drapey, and what I really think something like this shines at, if you're thinking about like spring wedding or something like that, or you need to dress up but you don't really want to dress up, putting like a blazer or something over a piece like this is huge. Because I really think it finishes off the piece, the overall look really nicely, and adds all this texture and dimension without really feeling like fussy or like dressed up or tucked in.
Because it's like a fine, really nice fabric, but not too over the top where it wouldn't work with a blazer.
Yeah, and I love that the decision to like have the seam here go around really shapes the body better, and it gives it that nice hang in the front that it has. So it almost does that kind of like shelling thing in the back where it just lays really pretty. I love this version of a cargo. I think you're a big cargo guy, so maybe you should speak to this. But
so all the things you would expect from a cargo. One, as we say, we like the pockets up a little higher. Sometimes you get them too close to where the knee bends, and it creates that weird silhouette just because it's a lot of fabric kind of folding in on itself. Standard, darting here for the knees to kind of create that silhouette where it kind of comes out. Similarly, how you were saying in the back of the shirt.
Exactly.
It just kind of makes the fabric kind of lay like with the knee. You know what I mean?
It lays like flatter up front, a little looser in the back, which I really think adds this really nice like I don't know, it's just a cleaner look in the front. You know?
Yep, agreed. And then obviously plenty roomy, plenty of length. I like how it's falling over top of these shoes. You could probably hike these up too and change the silhouette slightly. So
then it's got a little bit more of that hang to it.
Yeah,
so you've got a lot of great options with a pant like this. There's a great jacket that I believe matches this too, so if you want to have more of a kit, I think you can kind of complete it. And then we both really like this shoe too. This shoe is like, it's kind of wild looking, I think, at first when you first take a look at it, but it's really interesting how it's pieced together. It's kind of two pieces of flat shaped leather. And then there's sort of like an in-between that's almost neoprene. So first and foremost, these shoes are insanely comfortable.
Really
I literally just put them on.
And the heel counter also has that similar sort of neoprene thing. So it like hugs the back of your heel.
Feels like wearing a sock.
Totally.
So it kind of also, you just mentioned it kind of gives that like almost like a tabby look, or I don't know if it was who's mentioned that, but it's this really cool, like refined, very interesting look, while at the same time being very like easy to wear. We were also saying it kind of looks like old Iversons, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
I think it's like an interesting way to take like a sneaker and like make it so that you could wear this and it suddenly feels like very high-end luxury. I think that, to be honest with you, it feels most like an old Prada, and I think that that's like the real look you can get at a very affordable price considering what those are reselling at. I don't know, you get this really like sleek but like sporty look that I think our Legacy really nails, and it feels like it's definitely like a heightened or like more modern approach to like what Prada Sport was doing. So I really love these shoes. I think they're great. I've tried them on 100 times. I really probably should just buy them. Yeah, I think this is a cool look. I mean, it's very our Legacy still. You're still all in that tonal world. Everything that we just showed you, you could mix and match without any issue.
Yep, color-wise, all of the same family, more or less.
Really easy way to get that like higher fashion look without like having to like, you know, really piece together or really try out all these different brands. Like I think that like you get wearable. You can also have a lot of different styles inside of their collection, which I really love.
For sure,
yeah. Cool. I think this looks great.
I love it. I mean, the shirt is fantastic. I really like long sleeves. I like baggy long sleeves. But something about our Legacy is that when I'm trying this stuff on, it is loose in all the right places. You know, I'm not, you know, futzing around all the time. I'm kind of just wearing the stuff and it's wearing me. So it's good stuff.
Let's go. All right, so that was that. That was our try on for our Legacy. Our boy Al looked beautiful in it. Everything is really nice. As Timothy said, we got a lot of tonal things. Everything kind of mixes and matches and works with each other within this collection. We also have things that were not videoed or photographed here. Maybe they came previously earlier in the season. We love our Legacy. Something you can expect plenty more of from us.
I think that's it. I mean, like I said, I think our Legacy is a great brand if you're just getting into this world and want to like jump the line a little bit.
Yeah.
Our Legacy's been doing really great things for a really long time now.
Yeah.
And they continue to keep evolving and changing, as well as they have a great core program. So even just getting into that core program really starts building
Those
out.
boucle short sleeves and shit like that. Yeah, and again, as you saw from the first fit to the last, all of them, you know, pretty different in terms of silhouette and offering. Some workwear, a little more fashiony.
Yeah.
The one that has the print on it kind of runs the gamut.
It's a great brand to start collecting.
I
think because if you start collecting, it really works together beautifully, and they keep that in mind. It's a brand that I always appreciate when several brands do this, but you really think that all pieces, no matter what season, no matter what year, they should all play together at all times. And our Legacy definitely maybe does that better than anybody. So really great brand to start collecting, and it really helps you get into that world and get like really high fashion silhouettes and looks without spending astronomical prices to figure out what works for you.
Yep, agreed. So pop over shopcanoeclub.com/our-legacy if you were to type in the URL, but you can also get there. You can get there.
So if this is
just go to the website.
If you time traveled and are listening to this in 2001, you can go to the website.
HTTPS. Anyway, that's our Legacy. We love this. If there's other brands you'd like for us to do this for, I know we've gotten some other suggestions. With it being this far into the season, we'll probably hit the ground running with some of those for fall winter deliveries, which are just around the corner. It won't be terribly long from now.
But let us know what you want. We'll make sure that we get it done.
Yep. We like to do this. It is nice to have Al here with the clothes on body. It does kind of level it up a little bit. We heard you with that, so
if you got our suggestions,
proof that we
we'll take
do
them.
read the shit, and we'll take some suggestions. So thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Listen to the podcast Timothy and I have. It's called Customer Service Podcast, wherever you can find and listen to a podcast. If you like general bullshit and talking about clothing and literally anything else. So in the last couple of videos, I've gotten an influx of emails. I think maybe more people are watching our videos, which is fun. You want to join the Discord, shoot me an email, chase@shopcanoeclub.com. I'll drop you an invite. You can come hang out, bullshit, chat with like-minded folks about clothes, coffee, food, sports, really whatever you want to talk about. It's a free game, so as long as you're nice. Other than that, thanks for being here.
That's it.
Yeah, I'll have a couple words. Yeah, as we were saying, it's all tonally very, you know, in line with one another. If you were gonna start a capsule wardrobe, this would be a great place to start. Super comfortable stuff, really wearable, right out of the box, fantastic. After this, we're about to order some lunch, so that's what we're doing.
I think we're gonna get burritos.
We're gonna get burritos, Illegal Pete's, Boulder Staple, plus Colorado, you know.
It's gonna be good.
So, yeah, that's
Give us a wrap up.
We'll see you guys. Bye.
So, yeah, we're gonna